All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mixtape Show. It is time for the Artist of the Week interview. And this week's Artist of the Week interview is brought to you by MJ's Hip Hop Connects. And checking in, man, we got a dope artist that's going to be joining us. Goes by the name of Merkabah. And we're going to be talking about his new music, man. He about to release, he got this new album out, got this new single we've been banging here in the show the past few weeks. And first and foremost, my brother, welcome to the Mixtape Show, man. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir, and I appreciate the opportunity.
There we
Very
go.
grateful.
Here we go, man. Here we go, man. So, like I said earlier, man, we've been playing the music here the past few weeks. MJ sent the records over here a while ago, and just been kind of. I knew me and you was gonna record this here real soon, so we've been testing the records and gotten good response for the Kiss of Judas, and definitely want to get into that. Want to get into the music, but before we do that, man, just real quick rundown, brother. Just kind of like born and raised, and the generic stuff, born and raised, and
Right, right.
what was that first? What was your first? I like to ask this too. What was that first hip hop moment that you had that made you say, "Oh wow, I want to be involved with this"?
Man, I've been doing this for a long time. I like to I'm like I like to call myself under the underground because I've been I've been plugging away at it for quite some time, and I had a few notable moments throughout my history as an artist. And I would say that it all started with I'd say there was a record that my father got for me, and this was way back. It was called Electric Breakdance. This was in the
Mm,
break days, and it had songs on there by Houdini, Run DMC. It was like a compilation for breakers, and that's by then. Later on in my life, I joined Zulu Nation and later left Zulu Nation for some reasons we'll talk about later. But at that point in time, breakdancing was a fad to the world, but it would before that that stage when it reached the world, it was only confined to the streets of New York, the five boroughs,
mm,
right? So I caught it with everybody else when everybody else caught it when it started really becoming popular, and they were trying to promote breaking. So there's a song White Lines by Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, Furious Five, and that was one of the joints. And then Magic Swan by Houdini. Those are the first joints that, and of course Run DMC as an iconic group. R.I.P. J Master J
mm.
is one of the biggest and greatest and earliest hip hop stars. You know, iconic figures that we all, all of us that know about the history of hip hop felt. So I was right there. I ain't gonna say I was right there at the roots of hip hop when it started. I received it when it became popular. So
Mm.
my roots still run deep though with the culture and the you know those type
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah. It's always the culture first, right? When it comes to you, it's not
Yeah.
the flashy stuff. It's always about that
Right.
culture.
Yeah. I think that there's a time and place for everything, and I think that you have left-brained and right-brained people, and there's times when you need to use logic, and there's times when you need to use emotion.
Mm.
But logic is used to control the emotion sometimes. So with that being said, you got to be businesslike, even if you're very cultural. You still got to be businesslike at times. It's like the yin yang symbol.
Mm.
You got to have a balance.
Yeah. How far in before you started writing records and stuff like that?
I can remember way back in the day. It's I was in second grade when I first tried to rap, and I was trying to mimic what I had heard, but it was in a jokey way. I was, like snapping on people, like trying
Mhm.
to make fun of people, but I was trying to rhyme it when I was saying it, and that's because I had heard rap songs. And when I actually put my pen to paper, I was later in life. I had gotten out of high school, and I was in high school when I really started taking it seriously. But when I got out of high school, I started actually, publishing music and doing shows with with a local, crew that they
Mhm.
say.
Mhm.
People, they were graffiti artists that were down with us, and we're from. You said the born and raised thing. I'm sorry, I ran right past that.
No, you good. You good.
I'm from a small college town in Indiana, which is strange considering the type of music that I participate in and create. It's about an hour northeast of Indianapolis, which is the capital of Indiana, and it's Muncie, Indiana is the name of it. But home of Ball State University. There's a few people that have, Dave Letterman, that went to Ball State University. There's a few people. Bonzi Wells is from Muncie. Uh, but I mean, hip hop was rare to me because it was like it's a place that isn't really hip hop oriented that I come
Mhm.
from.
Mhm.
It was like a jewel for me. It was like a diamond in the rough that I discovered something that I could hold on to and that was creative. I used to draw when I was young, so I was all about the creativity. So it fell right in place for me.
But you kind of have an advantage too where you're from, because when you received it, it's not like I grew up in the city in New York, so it was a little bit different for me receiving it because everybody was doing it. But it's like where you were, you kind of received it kind of like in its purest form, because it was like,
Exactly.
what the hell is this? What I'm saying, that I'm seeing.
Exactly. And I totally you hit the nail on the head because that's where I think that my form of hip hop is kind of true to the roots
Mhm,
to a certain degree because I received it, even though I did receive it from the commercial appeal of it when like Run DMC and all that was really popping.
mhm,
It's still when I wanted to participate in the culture, it came from a place of I'm trying to be a lyricist. I'm trying to be a lyricist from the school of. I mean, I used to everything from Cypress Hill to Ice Cube to Redman. I would study the beats and the lyrics, and I was like, the mystery of hip hop is what it is. And once you
mhm.
learn that mystery, you become a practitioner of the craft, and that's the
Yeah.
way I look at it. Not just a culture, but a craft.
Yeah, yeah. I always looked at the smaller towns and cities kind of like traveling overseas, where it's a
Right.
different feel. It's a little bit more appreciation for the culture and for the art. And
Exactly.
so I always tend to like those type of artists more than like you said, the guy that, because there's 40 million rappers just in the borough of like Brooklyn and Queens alone. So
Right.
when you come from a place like you, where you, like I said, you really take your craft serious, you stand out a little bit more. And it's just dope to see, man. It's just dope to see. So salute to you, my bro. Salute to you,
Thank you,
man.
bro.
Well, and it's funny too, because you said Ball State, because I remember using Ball State as an example before the internet, where watching like the tournaments, the NCAA tournaments and stuff like that. And they'd be like, Ball State's playing. I'm like, where the hell's Ball State?
Yeah.
give me
Ball
give me give me a little bit more than just Ball State. What does that mean?
I thought about that because when I look at things, I like to look at them from a perspective of somebody that doesn't get it. Like I try to, even when I create my music, I try to pull back and
Mm,
think, listen with a virgin ear. Like, what is somebody that hasn't heard this before think of it? So I
mm,
can see, like, I can look at things and be like, that's a strange name for a university. Like, oh, that's a random
yeah.
name. Like, what is
Yeah.
that? Where's that
And
from?
if you call Ball State, y'all, it's like, man, they got a bunch of hoopers on their squad.
Yeah, yeah,
So let's talk about that, man. Affiliations and stuff like that. According to your bio, you got some connections with the Woo. You know what I'm saying, as
yeah.
far as the overall banner and stuff like that. How was that? Or how is that for working for you as an artist, and just kind of being under that powerful symbol? You know what I mean?
Well, uh, I want to make it, clear that I'm not like an official affiliate
Yeah.
under the W. I just have some connections to a lot of the artists I've dealt with. Christ Bearer of North Star, they were affiliate group that put
Mm,
on by the RZA from Cali. I have some affiliates to Solomon Childs. I've done some production work for him recently. He's closely affiliated with Ghostface. I've dealt with Bronze Nazareth and his brother Kevlar Seven. They're from Detroit. That's like the Detroit branch of Wu Tang.
mm,
God bless the dead. Kevlar Seven is no longer with us. Papa Wu, before he passed, God bless the dead, uh, actually put me down with Universal Killer Bees, an organization called Universal Killer Bees, which is Nabi Reality, a friend of mine helped organize. So I have that official stamp as Universal Killer Bees, and I hold that with great honor. But I don't really promote it and push it out there because there's a lot of artists out there that rep that W that I don't think are really truly affiliated. So I don't really focus on that. But it is a great legacy.
mm,
I was a fan from day one. 36 Chambers and what they stand for. There was an interlude on 36 Chambers where I think it was Raekwon said, "This is something that the world's been wanting to hear because we've been wanting to hear it," and that's
mm,
true. Because I came up listening to conscious rap from the East, brand
mm,
new, et cetera, et cetera. I came up listening to gangster rap from the West, and militant rap is somewhere in the middle. And I felt Wu Tang was real militant. It was like heavy metal for like Prodigy said, heavy metal for the black people.
mm,
Mobb
mm.
Deep, Wu Tang, some of those harder songs that they created.
Were you a big fan of speaking of West Coast? Were you a big fan of like Paris too coming up?
Paris the Black Panther, no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Paris.
That's what I love. I love this music. I still do. I still listen to a lot of those tunes now,
He's
and
still grinding out. He just
he's
released the
still,
album
yeah, he's still
last
putting
week.
out music, still
Yeah,
putting out relevant music, and that's what I love. Just from the type of music that you make, I love artists like you, and I love those artists I listen to coming up too, because you can drop a track in any era, and we can still get that track. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't, because the situations haven't changed. We're still dealing with police brutality from
Yeah,
NWA was doing, F the police and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like when you make music from the heart and you make real music, it's always going to be relevant. And artists like yourself are always going to put out good quality music because it's going to have a good shelf life. You know what I'm saying?
no doubt, bro.
Definitely,
Appreciate it.
definitely, man. And you got this joint now, man. That's pretty. It's pretty dope. I like it. That's this Kiss of Judas. Let's talk about that real quick. When you was writing this or when you was formulating this joint, what was what was going on when you was putting this together?
Okay, well, I have a great deal of knowledge about the Bible. I'm not a religious person. I haven't really been to church much at all in my life,
Mm-hmm.
which is strange to a lot of people. But which is also strange to a lot of people that know me is that I have studied the Bible intensely, like studied it. Like the way I look at it is, you have stories in the Bible from a couple thousand years ago that still apply to today in the
Mm-hmm.
in the Old Testament, New Testament. There's love, there's hate, there's war, there's betrayal. That's what Kiss of Judas touches on, is betrayal. So I thought of an idea to make a conceptual album relating to the what all of us view as the story of Jesus. So not a religious or a Christian rap album by any means. There's some brutal tracks on there. One of them is I got the record right here in front of me. I got it on vinyl, you know what I'm saying?
Nice. The Messiah Complex is the name of that
Yeah.
joint.
It's available on messiah-complex.com. But there's a joint on there called The Altar with Solomon Childs from Wu-Tang. And that's more of like a hardcore old school 90s boom bap hip hop track. It's kind of rough around the edges. But yeah, the whole concept of the album is basically the life of Jesus and some key points of things that happened in the Bible. And
Mm.
Kiss of Judas part is the betrayal that many people in this world have faced. Just normal, average, everyday people. You've had betrayal happen in relationships, or maybe at the job, or the music industry. I've had that myself, as far as betrayal. So, I mean, I think it's a relevant topic. Like you said, universal relevant topics from 2,000 years ago till now, and they're still
Mm.
affecting us. People are still being betrayed. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And you said the project is more of a concept project.
Mhm.
Still telling the story basically from the intro to the end.
Well, it's not in chronological order per se, but I think that each track kind of resonates with different aspects of the story of Jesus that we all know.
Mm. Oh man. So what's the feedback you've been getting from this from the record?
Well, I've gotten I haven't gotten much well, I know religion is kind of like on the decline. So it's not like I haven't, a couple years ago, a few years ago, 10 years ago, maybe I might have got negative feedback from people that were religious, but I know I have friends that are, devout Christians that actually like it, and they think it's great because the songs that they've heard, it doesn't paint Jesus necessarily in a bad light. It just makes him more accessible, I guess you could say, in
Mm.
terms of like the music.
Yeah. When you were coming up, and I'll answer this myself too, because I love these type of conversations. When you come up, did you grow up in the church, or
No, I
how'd that
wasn't.
come up for you?
I was never around the church. I grew up. I guess you could say it was a Christian type of environment because we knew to pray, and there was a Bible in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus and was spoken of from time to time, but it wasn't. I didn't have to get dressed up and go to Sunday school, church, or anything like that. I was, and I'm grateful for that because my opinion, I feel like I have a more balanced view of everything because of that. Because it
Yeah.
wasn't forced on me.
Yeah. I came up kind of similar, but from both sides of the family is, it's different. Like my mom's
Right.
side, my mom was more of the let's go to church. And then my dad's side, they were too. But I spent a lot of time around my uncles and stuff like that and my aunts, and they believed, but they kind of, they like you, they kind of just left it open for me to make those decisions when it
Right.
came to that. And then, as you get older, you'll see things and you'll hear things and things kind of click, and you're just like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right.
Right.
And kind of like you, I read the Bible, I pray to who I believe is my God, you know what I mean? And it's just a very interesting topic because it's kind of like, you know, it's like telling somebody how to raise their kid. You know how
Right.
people get, you know what I mean? So it's always
There's no
fun to
one way how to do it, and there's no instruction manual for it.
exactly. And that's what I always try to say, and even with my kids, I have little ones, and my mom asked me, are you gonna get them this? Are you gonna get them that? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let them make that decision. I don't want to
Right.
force anything on them. I'm just going to tell them what I believe in and let them make those decisions. So it's always it's very interesting to talk about that, especially in the Black culture with religion and stuff like that,
Right.
because it's dope, man. It's dope to have those conversations. You know what I mean? Um, dope, man.
I think that when it comes to religion, I think we all need a group ceremony and a personal ritual
Mm,
to it's just like day-to-day things, brushing your teeth, hygiene, going on a run or exercising. They're all rituals that we embark on upon
mm,
human beings as part of our life. So some of us need those things in a group setting, and the religion or like a ball game or something like that is how we kind of feel part of something greater than ourselves. So it's very
mm,
important. But I think that in the wrong hands, some of these religious platforms can actually, be, influence people in a negative way. We know historically that, as far as slavery, how the Bible played a role in that, to
mm,
bring slaves to think as long as you work on that field, they're singing spirituals because they think that their heaven that they're going to receive is going to be when they die.
mm.
Meanwhile, the plantation owner's on the porch sipping peach tea, and he's living in heaven right now. You
Exactly.
know, so there's a
Exactly.
good and
Yeah.
bad side to faith, to religion.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely agreed on that one, my brother. Definitely, man. So coming up where you came up, man. When you started writing and everything like that, when did you get that first kind of leaving the crib, basically leaving the, like you said, the porch, leaving your hometown and taking your music outside of the city? How did that feel for you when people received your music outside of where you grew up?
It felt great. I will say that the first thing, the precursor to me leaving the city was due to the fact that there's a college campus here in town and it's a college town. Most of the, we've kind of played that close, as far as the collegiate scene. So I actually had done shows in Ball State with we had Cannabis here back in 2008, I believe, and we had Twista. I opened for Twista in like the 90s,
Mm,
like late 90s, and that was like one of the biggest earliest things for me was opening for Twista, and that was at the auditorium at the campus. So there was a night that was a good deal of people were in there to see him, and we got to meet him and everything. So that was pretty exciting for us because Chicago's not that far away, and
mhm,
that's a Midwest thing. It's like even though I don't really rhyme in that style, I still have appreciation for him because he's an iconic figure in the hip hop landscape.
mhm,
So that was an exciting moment. But when we started venturing out and doing stuff in other cities, it just felt great. I mean, I was focused. I have been. I mean, for the last um I'd say not COVID, last year wasn't anything really going on, but maybe the year before last year and years before that, I've been touring with a band, a live band. Like it
okay.
was called Planet Boom Bap. So we had done a lot of shows in the Midwest region, and we had garnered some attention because I always wanted to involve that live instrumentation element, and it feels great to get feedback from other places. I never really let it make me be other than humble.
Mhm.
I'm humbled by the experience, and I think that going out and venturing out and getting out of your comfort zone, your local comfort zone, actually helps you grow as a person and learn more and learn to appreciate what you do more when you see other people appreciate it.
Yeah,
You know,
I definitely a lot of artists that I network with, when you can tell they got the talent, they got it, but it's just like something's holding them back, and I'm just like, bro, it's like you got to have your effort moment where you like, you know what, F it, let me just go out of here and do it, because if I
right,
can't make it outside of here, then my career is already dead anyway. So
right.
what's that's the the worst thing that can happen is the people outside the city may say, hey, we just don't rock with that, you know what I
Right.
mean? And you can regroup.
And, and I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Indiana is not a hub of like hip
Mhm.
hop culture by any means. So it's
Yeah.
like the people that mostly feel my music are people from like Germany, Canada. Like online, the online response is
Mhm.
like as far as the purchases. I'm looking at when I sell music, it's in there are a lot of Midwestern purchases, but it's
Mhm.
balanced with overseas purchases.
Mm. And it goes to that same thing like we talked about earlier. When you in the smaller towns outside of your city, they're
Yeah.
gonna accept the music different because they absorb it different. So
Right, right.
definitely. And you mentioned earlier too, man, you was part of the Zulu Nation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No longer with them and everything like that. How did that happen for you when you got involved with them?
Well, when I first began my adventure or journey as a performing artist, a traveling performing artist, my first goal was to touch base with all of the other cities in Indiana that had some type of hip hop scene because I did research early on and I found out that there were little pockets of hip hop culture. Not overall, it's not a hip hop state, but there were pockets in
Mm.
Fort Wayne, in Indianapolis, in Bloomington, which is another college town, in South Bend. And I connected with all of these people that were like minded, and I received a lot of love and gave it right back as far as, people being of the culture and relating to each other as participants in the culture, not observers, not only observers, I should say. So it's like, ask the question again. I'm sorry, I missed.
Zulu Nation.
Okay,
How'd that happen?
yeah, that's where I was going. I'm sorry.
So,
But during this journey of meeting all these people, there was a Fort Wayne hip hop cat. His name is Coda. He had a dance school. He was a b-boy, like a true blue b-boy, like knows the craft of b-boying, like I know MCing. So we're like minds. So he was actually always interested in, because when Zulu Nation started, it was started by Africa Bambaataa and the original Zulu Kings, who were all b-boys. So it wasn't just him. Africa Bambaataa was used as the figurehead, but it was a group of people that started Zulu Nation, not just him. But so because of that b-boy connection, he actually brought Bambaataa to his school. There's a history that goes along with that. I had to end the chapter because of all the pedophilia accusations.
yeah.
Zulu Nation does a lot of youth work, so that tarnishes the brand for me totally, and I cannot, touch on that. But it's for history's sake of my own personal history.
Yeah.
I met up with Coda. We connected. He said that you qualify as Zulu material, and we want you to be down with the chapter. And from then on, I became the vice president of the Fort Wayne chapter of Zulu Nation, and then I started my own chapter, which covered Muncie and Indianapolis. And I gathered my own members, which were mostly MCs. Coda's chapter was mostly b-boys, and my chapter was mostly MCs. So and then, like I said, when the accusations came down, we had to, immediately, as soon as we started, the accusations started becoming like realistic to us. A lot of chapters folded, but there are some brothers still, they're trying to recollect it under something called the Zulu Union. So shout out to them, because I met a lot of good people in that organization. There are a lot of good people. I didn't know many from New York. I know people from all over. It was worldwide. And there were a lot of good people that helped a lot of children and people doing fundraisers, coat drives, toy drives, donating to the homeless and stuff like that. So it kind of tarnished the brand, and it was really a sad moment, when you have to part ways with all these like-minded people just for the sake of, for your own personal soul, because you're connected to something like that.
Yeah, I agree, man. You got to hold people accountable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it definitely, I was real disappointed. You know what I'm saying? And kind of like you, I was really disappointed just because that's a big hit for hip hop and that's a big hit for the culture. So, we got to dust off, pick up, and do something else. You know what I'm saying? With the same energy, the original energy that was meant to have. You know what I'm saying?
Not to interrupt you, but one thing that did happen with that, when I went to New York, I went to the anniversary. I forget what year it was. It was 2015, 2014. And I met Grandmaster Caz. I met Kool Herc. I met Jazzy J. I mean, legendary people, like that's real to me. Like that was like a spiritual occasion to me. I grew up on that same record I was telling you about earlier, that breakdance record. There was a song on there called Jam On It by Nucleus. I think Most Def redid that song. But I saw them perform, Cosmo D perform that Jam On It in front of me live on stage at the theater. It was I forget the name of the theater, but it was in Manhattan. And it was like I said, it was a religious experience, because to me, I'd never been really a religious person. And to me, hip hop was my religion up to that point. It was something I dedicated my time to, that I took seriously, that was a ritual that I participated in. So that was like really like a pilgrimage when I went to the anniversary.
Yeah, that was your trip to the hip hop Mecca, right?
Yeah.
It's wild, man. And for me, hip hop, it's weird. It's not weird, but it's weird to me how certain, you hear a certain song, or you hear like me, when I hear Jay Dilla production, and you know what he was going through after he passed, and the stuff he was going through while making his music and his records, the pain that he was in, and he still put out that great quality of music. It touches me as a fan of hip hop and as a person who loves the culture so much, because it's like, we're dealt a lot of lemons in this culture, which birthed the culture. But when you see the beauty that comes out of it, it's nothing like it, man. You know what I'm saying? And when you get around, like you said, like-minded people who appreciate it, man, it is a religious experience. You know what I mean? And it's something you really can't explain. Like my wife, she knows I'm into this, but I can't explain to her. She can see it, but she does.
Right,
She's like, I just can't understand it, but I can see it that you
right,
take
right.
pride in what you do and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, it's dope artists like you that I love connecting with and linking up with and having this platform for because you guys keep me going, man. So, as a person
Appreciate
who loves music and as a DJ, man, I appreciate people like you, and I thank you for that, man.
Salute, man.
So, social media, man. What's the best way we can follow you and follow the journey?
Okay, with social media, it gets a little complicated because my name, it's kind of difficult sometimes. But like I would say, Merkabah is Merkabah, and you can search that on Instagram. It's Merkabah _ El Shaddai, which is hard to spell. So just look for Merkabah Kiss of Judas,
And
search that, and
and
you'll be
you'll
able to find.
pop up.
There's a video on YouTube right now, Merkabah Kiss of Judas. It was shot in a 120-year-old church right here in my hometown that I've mentioned before, and it's pretty dope. I like the video how it turned out.
And as far as merchandise and music for you to get the best bang for your buck, where should they go purchase that?
You can purchase the album on vinyl, digital, CD. T-shirts are also available with the Merkabah Crown of Thorns logo, and that is at messiah-complex.com. That is MESSIAH-complex.com. Right here, the vinyl right here.
There we go. There we go,
All the
man.
points on it. You know what I'm saying? That's it
I love
right
it.
there.
I love it, man. I love physical. I love when artists still do physical stuff, man, because I come from that era. I can't. I mean, MP3 is as close to physical as we're gonna get now, but it's dope when you
Right.
see artists put their time and effort and still keep that because I still like reading the credits and all that kind of stuff. So it's
Exactly.
dope,
That's
man.
another hip hop ritual is opening that, looking, even the smell of the tapes. Like when you
Mm-hmm,
open the tape,
mm-hmm.
it's an experience. Like you
Yeah.
said, some people can't understand it, but it's like opening that tape and smelling the ink off of that and being
Mm-hmm.
like produced by and also who's on this guest feature. I don't know who that voice is. Let me
Yeah.
see who this.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
how many cuts I had on my thumb for breaking that binder. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? With
yeah, no doubt.
the
Yeah, yeah.
oh man. Well, hey man, like I said, brother, we the platform is always open to you. You know what I'm saying? I got you followed on social media. Whenever you got anything going on, you drop a new single or anything like that, just hit me back and say, man, let me come back on the show and let's talk about it, brother. The door is always gonna be open for you.
Man, I appreciate it a lot, man.
All
I appreciate
right.
the opportunity and
And
the
it
platform.
and anybody want to shout out before we get out of here?
I want to shout out to Planet Boom Bap, all my people, my beautiful children. I love you very much. And you know, and all those that look out for me and I look out for them. And we should all in these troubled times, we should all stay focused, find something to do with your time that's creative to keep you anchored. That's what we need. We need a little bit more creativity instead of all the clout chasing. I don't mean just in hip hop, I just mean in general. The
Hmm.
vibe is different. So it's like it's time for us to get grounded and anchored with some kind of artistic pursuit or something. Do something. Invest in yourself.
There we go, man. And before we get out of here, funny question. You got the dope name now, but what was your first MC name that you had?
Look, I'm gonna tell you, I was known for a long time as Merk Versus. That was my
Okay.
name for many years until I became Merkabah. But my very first name, I went by. I called myself J Smooth.
Okay.
But and then I went by Mr. Sinister, but that ended up being taken by the DJ that's down with the Executioners.
Mm-hmm.
But Mr. Sinister is based on a Marvel comic character. But
Yeah.
yeah, J Smooth. Yeah, it wasn't nothing too goofy. It was cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. There you go. There you go,
Merc
man.
versus that. You can also search that MERCVERSUS.
You got
Violence
some
Express
you got some
revealed.
got some material out there under that name. We can go
Yeah,
search.
plenty. I got an album with it's got under Merc versus the Merc versus name. I got an album with Papa Wu, Young Dirty Bastard, Bread and Knife from Killer Army, and who else is on there? Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang Clan. I got a song with him called Burn It Down.
Deck, bro. This is my personal Inspector Deck is probably one of the most underrated MCs in the game, man.
Bro, yeah.
He
Not only in the Wu-Tang family, but in general,
in
period.
general, yeah. He killing them in Czarface right now. And then
Yeah.
it made me
Love
go
it.
back and listen to a lot of his older verses. And I was like, you know what? He never missed when it came to
No.
them verses, man. You know what I'm saying?
He
Every verse was
always came through.
every verse was a quotable that he put out.
No doubt.
Yeah, dope, man. Dope, man. Well, man, like I said, brother, I appreciate your time, man. And like I said, the door is always open. You know what I'm saying? Just let us know you want to come back. We're gonna keep spinning the records. I got my own radio station too, so I already got the record on the station. And I'm gonna get some vinyl here in a little bit too, brother. I love vinyl, so I'm gonna have to go and make me a purchase on that real soon.
No doubt. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. We're gonna tune in next time and we'll keep in touch. All right.
No doubt.
All right. We'll be right back.
Peace.